Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining the On the Block podcast here for NFL Week 11 picks. Joe Ferrari with Brandon Graham and Igor Henriquez. Rob has, called in sick, can't make it today, so we'll be giving his picks at the end of the day. We'll start off with the first game, and guys, my hat's eluded me. I brought it for Rob, but it's not here, so we'll start with the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's at home, sitting in first place in the AFC South, and also tied for the best record in football at 8-2 with Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. So Tennessee's at home -10, taking on the Houston Texans. Brandon, we'll start with you.
I think this is a no-brainer. Okay, like the Tennessee Titans for some reason got better without, like they're not better without Derrick Henry, but they run the ball efficiently. They're tough teams. Okay, they can stop the run, they can run the ball, and they can cover kicks. And the Tennessee Titans are one of the toughest teams in the league, so they do that really well. I hate them saying that, but yeah, I'm taking the Tennessee Titans to cover here. The 10 points. I think it should be a route. It should be.
I'm gonna keep that soundbite where you said Tennessee is one of the best teams in the league, and I'm gonna use
that.
One
of the not best.
One
wrong. Not the toughest teams. Not they're just tough. That's what Bill Belichick said. If you can stop the run, if you can run the ball.
In the league too.
Exactly. It's a Bill Belichick disciple as well. If you can stop the run, if you can run the ball, and if you can cover kicks, you're a tough team. And I think that Tennessee does that really well. They're not the best team. They're a tough team.
Okay, I agree with that. Igor, your pick.
I think it basically comes down to, the Texans on the road aren't very good. I'm actually surprised it's only I have a 9.5. I'm surprised it's not even in more double digits. So, I'm going to take the Titans here. They're the better team. They're at home. Everything points to a pretty decisive Titans victory. So I'm going to take the Titans.
Joey's definitely taking Houston.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Houston.
Last week,
we circled that game last week, right? Because it was a 3-point spread against New Orleans. And it was a fishy game. And what happened? Tennessee won by 2 points. By 2 points.
2 points, yeah. They won 2 points.
Covered that spread, right? Really strange how things ended up working out that way, but they do. I'll take Tennessee. Houston usually always plays Tennessee tough, division game. I feel like this is a letdown spot. Like Tennessee doesn't blow too many teams out, especially bad teams. I think this is unfortunate. Might go down to the wire, win by 7 or something like that. So I'll take Houston on the spread, Tennessee to win.
Okay, one thing I want to say about Tennessee, they had the strongest schedule, like the toughest schedule up to this point, and they wrapped up those games. And now, literally, who they're playing right now. Okay, they have of course, you have the Texans, right? You got Texans, you got Jaguars, you got Steelers, 49ers, and you have the Dolphins again, right? So you have a really this is a really soft schedule. Yeah, they could, honestly, they really could. I hate them saying that.
Absolutely possible.
Which is absolutely crazy, if you ask me. Next game, guys, last week we were talking about this. So San Fran's taking on Jacksonville. San Fran's 6.5-point favorite. Rob continued to go with San Fran because, like you said, with Shanahan, at one point these guys actually have to win and cover. That was a Monday nighter. Odell didn't do too much. The Rams got embarrassed again for 2 weeks in a row. Do you guys like San Fran here -6? Igor, we'll start with you.
You know what? It's a tough one to gauge because, again, you just don't know what type of 49ers team you're going to get. Now, their defense got, healthier last week, and you can tell that the secondary's getting to a good spot. At a touchdown spread, you're looking at a situation where I would say, there's not going to be no Eli Mitchell, but, you got Kittle, you got Debo. I'm going to take the 49ers because I think they just have too much firepower to and that the Jaguars won't be able to I don't know if Robinson's going to play this week. I think the 49ers to cover the spread there. I just think they have too much firepower, and the defense is playing better.
Brandon?
Yeah, Kittle just brings instant difference to that team altogether, right? Like, on offensively, they just look like a different team last week on Monday night. So I can't not take the San Francisco 49ers here. I'm taking the 6.5, but I know Urban Meyer's have those guys ready to play. They usually play well at home, like they play up to their competition. But no, I'm going to take the 49ers to cover this game at 6.5 because they kind of have to. You can't lose these games anymore. They don't have room to lose these games, so I'm going to take them firmly with that game.
Yeah, clean sweep. I'm going to go with San Fran as well. I think that San Fran really hasn't done too well this season with the injuries and both winning games and against the spread. I feel like Jacksonville's had their better shows already. They've won already the tough game against Buffalo, and they've covered the spread multiple times. I'm going to go San Fran here big. Next game. So Cam Newton going against Rivera here. So Washington's going to Carolina. Carolina's -3.5. Brandon, Cam took off his mask last week. I was not a fan of that. I don't like that. I don't care what the situation is.
I'm back!
Right here. Yeah.
I'm back! Corona's back. Yeah, not vaccinated. I'm joking. I don't even care. But no, this is definitely a game to watch. Well, I can't believe I'm saying that because Washington actually came off of a pretty big win last week against Tampa Bay.
And I called that one.
And you did call that one, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to take? I'm going to take the Washington football team to actually win this game just because of the showing they had last week. Carrying that momentum. Of course, they lost Chase Young. They lost some key guys, but I think they're a better team than Carolina, to be honest with you. Oh, but McCaffrey's back. I'm still going to take the Washington football team 3.5 points to win this game and in a shocker.
I'll piggyback really quick. I like that as well. I like Washington. I like Washington to win this game. I feel like Vegas is really going to try and capitalize on all that publicity that Cam got last week. They're going to think that Carolina's back. Yes. And like Igor always says, I'll take that field goal on the other side. It's a 3.5, so I'll take Washington plus a 3.5. Igor.
This is a tough one for me because I think, Cam Newton first start really coming back. I am concerned that the Washington defense is a little bit injured, like Brandon said, without Chase Young. The Panthers defense is pretty legit.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna lean. I'm gonna stick with you guys. I think if it's 3.5, I'll stick with Washington. If it was again that to me that slight point at like 0.5 makes a difference. I think it'll be a field goal game in general. So I mean, if I get the extra 0.5, I'll take Washington. But I can see the Panthers winning the game based off of a defensive effort because their defense is actually pretty legit. But again, I'll take the Washington if it's 3.5.
Yeah. All three of us there with Washington. Aaron Rodgers taking on Kirk Cousins in a 1:00 time slot. Aaron Rodgers is back. Really bad showing for them last week against Seattle and Russ Wilson. Ended up getting the win. Bit of a fishy line, right? Like a team that's 8-2 going to Minnesota. I know it's a road game, division game, but still, Brandon.
Yeah. Hey, I saw what you posted, of course. Kirk Cousins with 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but no one cares because it's Kirk Cousins.
Nobody cares.
No one. Hey, but this is a 1:00 game, man. So this is prime Kirk Cousins time, right? This is probably the toughest game I have to kind of pick this week because Aaron was kind of rusty coming back off the COVID, and that's usually what happens. It takes you a little bit longer to get back in your stride, and they're losing, of course, Adam Jones, or they're losing Jones, of course. You have A.J. Dillon, but he's going to be able to step in and provide a decent run game there. Offensive line, Bakhtiari's out. You have a lot of injuries on the Green Bay side. But with that said, I'm riding with the Green Bay Packers. 1 point going there. I'm going to take them right here. I know Minnesota's coming up a really big game. This is the toughest thing. I'm just going to ride with Green Bay. Green Bay's actually 8-1 with the spread. They've covered most of these games, so I'm going to take Green Bay. But this seems like a really letdown spot. I'm just so back and forth, but I'll take Green Bay. I'll stick with my gut.
Yeah, I had you written down for Minnesota after that monologue. I had to cross it out and change it.
You know what? Yeah, let's change that. Let's change that to Minnesota. Sorry, let me change that to Minnesota.
Oh, you got Minnesota now? Okay.
I got Minnesota. Yeah, they coming off a really big win. They're at home. They got to get a win against Green Bay at some point.
Yeah, this is the spot. This is the spot.
This is the spot, man.
Yeah. Once again, I'll just quickly jump in there, and I'm going to take Minnesota as well. They're probably going to be one of my 5 picks. Minnesota saved me, although I'm out of my survivor in, I think it was week 3. They were 0-2. They were at home. I want to say they were taking on Seattle, and they had a big win. A lot of teams wrote them off at 0-2, but this team still has a chance to make the playoffs. They've been playing really good recently. I've always thought their defense was pretty underrated. Jefferson, Thielen, I like the squad. I think there's a letdown game for Green Bay, just like Tennessee. All these teams at the top, I feel like they're going to have a letdown, right? They got through a lot of, I don't want to say lucky wins, but even last week with Green Bay, that game could have went either way as well. So I'll take Minnesota. Igor.
You know what? It's a tough one, but I mean, if you're only getting Packers at a point, it's pretty much a pick 'em. I'm going to just go with a better team in this situation. I think, Minnesota, I thought they had, I think the last home game that was against Dallas, against the second string quarterback, and they got beat. I think the Packers
game though, Igor, right? That's why.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I think the Packers are just a better team.
Yeah,
and if I'm getting it at just a single point, which is a pick-em situation, meaning that all I need is a Packers win, I'll take the Packers to win the game and cover the point, obviously.
The most logical pick there, going with Mr. Ivermectin. I like that. Detroit.
It's not like Kirk Cousins is any better at the end of the day. Is him and his pastor father are.
Oh yeah,
also on that train.
The battle of the unvaxxed quarterbacks. Right?
Yeah, the battle of the
unvaxxed. This is the unvaxxed bowl. This is the unvaxxed bowl right here.
The unvaxxed bowl, exactly.
All right, so Detroit's coming off a tie last week to Pittsburgh, which if you're a Detroit fan, it's still not a win, but it's not a loss. And as a Pittsburgh fan, Brandon was talking about, I think last week, coming off that that Monday nighter, like Pittsburgh is just atrocious. You take that as a loss if you're Pittsburgh. You lose some ground in the standings. Detroit now going to Cleveland. Cleveland's a 12.5-point favorite. Nick Chubb is coming back. And Cleveland's coming off a 45-7 loss against New England. So, Brandon, I'm assuming I got Cleveland, so I'll say that right away. I'm going to take Cleveland plus
I'm taking Cleveland.
You too?
Yeah, I'm taking Cleveland. I think this is a lock. This is probably going to be one of my 5 this week because Chubb's coming back. That game against New England getting embarrassed. After that first drive, I thought they were going to roll the Patriots, but they just got absolutely torched. And I think this is a game they have to make. They have to get a win. They have to kind of show no mercy. Baker's got to play way better. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to cover the 12.5.
Igor?
I got to say I'm surprised with the picks because, I mean, last week, it really wasn't their run game that let him down at the end of the day because Dearness Johnson still had a great game. Replacing Chubb. So, I mean, they just got waxed. I mean, Baker's obviously really busted up, hurt. They got a lot of injuries all over the place. To me, again, the Lions, they tied against a second-string quarterback. But, I mean, I'm definitely not going to lay 13 points with a team that just got waxed by like 30-plus points by the Patriots. And again, the Patriots offense, again, that's my team, score 45 points against that Cleveland defense. Again, I'm not a big fan of Jared Goff. He was horrible last week, and they still managed to do something. I think I like the run game. I'm definitely going to take the Lions in the 12.5. That's way too many points off of what Cleveland did last week. Way too many. They should be like 8.5 at most.
Igor's riding the Dan Campbell train. I'm mad at you.
Well, I mean, I think I'm more riding that the Baker Mayfield trains are really coming off the rails. So
yeah, and I think in this game, like you said, like you're really going against who you don't like. And Baker Mayfield's been terrible. I think I sent you guys some clips from shows I've been listening to. There's been a lot of talk that Cleveland might just franchise tag him for a year and see what happens because he's really given this team no sense of really who he is as a quarterback, at least not an elite one. So you want to really pay that extension for maybe an average quarterback in the NFL if he's even the 15th, 16th best quarterback in the league, which I don't even think so, although he's been banged up. I like Cleveland just to steamroll this week. I think that Detroit's going to struggle to score. I've said it before. I think that Jared Goff's bottom 5 quarterback in the league. They don't really have the weapons for him to get the ball either. I know the O-line's been pretty decent. Swift's a pretty good running back. I think Detroit's defense is probably pretty average. It's not too bad. When Jared Goff's your quarterback, I think that Cleveland is, they were embarrassed last week. I think they're going to really try and make a statement game here and just blow them out of the water, maybe like a 28-7 game. Let's move on to one of the more interesting games. Colts are traveling to Buffalo in a potential playoff game, maybe in the first round. I think that the Colts will probably sneak in as a wild card team. I'll go first. I really like Indy here, plus the 7. I think that they might even upset. Like I said, as a Titans fan, the Colts are a team that I'm always worried about. They just manage. And I think that they're kind of hitting the right stride here. Igor, I'm assuming that he had the baby last week, Carson Wentz.
I think the other day.
I mean, he cost me my stuff because they went out to like a huge lead and then they blew it at the end of the game, which cost me my cover. Yeah. But I think the baby's been taken care of. But he had a bad game. It was all Jonathan Taylor. He didn't really do much.
Yeah. So it didn't cover last week. I'm looking for them to cover and win this week. Brandon, who do you like?
I think the Bills coming back home after that, laying that game to Jacksonville, playing really well against New York. I think this is a time, playing against a formidable team, you got to get a win against one of these really big teams. I'm going to lay one of my locks of the week is going to be Buffalo Bills covering the 7 points. I think a really tough team is Indy as well too, but Carson Wentz is just not settling down. It's all Carson Wentz, to be honest with you. So I don't trust him. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills with the 7 points at home to take this game.
Igor, you like the Bills as well?
I actually think it's going to be a pretty close game. I can see Indy possibly winning the game. I think the Bills will win, but I think it'll be by less than 7. So I'm going to take the Colts to cover. I think that, I think Jonathan Taylor's the best running back in the league. Now that Henry's been put on the shelf. And I think I think the Bills usually have some trouble stopping the run at times. I remember like Derrick Henry steamrolled them a little bit when they played the Titans. So I think the Colts will keep the game close. The Bills will probably win the game, but I'll take the Colts to cover the 7.
The Colts as well. Okay. Let's move on to New Orleans taking on Philly. Philly coming off that win against Denver last week, and New Orleans with that heartbreaking loss to Tennessee. So Philly's at home minus 2.5. Igor.
Well, I know Brandon was heavy on the Broncos last week.
Yeah, that was the worst.
We're all riding on
Jalen Hurts.
On basically Rob's team, and now we can't trash Rob because he's not here, but his team definitely let us down for the most part.
Definitely to roast him next time we see him.
I think, again, no Alvin Kamara again for the Saints. I've been betting against the Eagles all season because I just don't think they're that great. But, I mean, this is a good spot for them with the Saints being banged up. It's a home game. It's, again, a 3-point spread. You know how I like those 3-point spreads. I'll take the Eagles to win the game and cover, which, again, it's going to bite me in the butt, but we'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I go, Brandon, go ahead.
No, I just don't. I don't think it's going to because like Sean Payton's not playing Taysom Hill at quarterback. Like Trevor Siemian's not the answer, right? Like he's played decently, but he's not the. They only lost like 2 points, but like still, he's not the answer there. And they're gonna go now. They're traveling outside of the dome to play in Philadelphia. It's gonna be kind of chilly down there. I think Jalen Hurts is off of that big win. I think he's gonna continue that. Devontae Smith finally got the ball. They finally figured out how to get him the ball. Yeah, I think this is one of my top 5 picks of the week too. The Philadelphia Eagles 2.5 at home.
This is one of the few ones that I really don't have too much of a feel. So both you guys have Philly, right?
Yeah.
And I just pulled it up on the score app there. I think it was 52% for Philly. So it looks like it's being 51% actually for New Orleans. So this is pretty evenly spread out there. I don't know. Philly is a team that I feel like they're almost like the Titans in the sense where when you think they're going to cover a win, they don't, and when you count them out, they end up doing it. I'll go New Orleans, but like I said, just a little lead here. I don't really love either of those teams. I'll take New Orleans on the road up to 2.5. Divisional game, AFC East. Miami taking on the Jets. Miami's a 3.5-point favorite. I believe Zach Wilson's coming back this week.
Joe Flacco, man.
Joe
Flacco started. Joe Flacco started.
Oh, wow.
The legend of Mike White is all over.
Mike White thought he was supposed to be a first-round pick.
First
First overall.
Mike White.
Played terrible last week.
Yeah.
Brandon, who do you like?
I don't really have an opinion about this game. Like these games are the ones that you never put them in the parlay because it's just one of those games that's gonna be wonky. But Miami Dolphins, it's one of the Jets are so bad, and they don't run the ball. They don't run the ball. They throw the ball in the flats to their running backs. That's how bad their offense is. So I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins here to cover it going into New York. I think Tua's gonna get a big win. I have money on the Miami Dolphins to win this game, but I'm gonna stay away from it for sure.
Yeah. Igor?
Well, again, the Jets, I had faith in them last week against the Bills, and they got completely dismantled. I think Miami's just right now is just the better team. I think Tua's going to have a big game. I agree with Brandon. The Jets are usually much better at home. But, again, Joe Flacco, I don't know how much I trust him. Again, putting him in there against a pretty decent Miami secondary. I think Miami covers and wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
These are usually the ones, and like as a amateur bettor, these are like the games that I kind of find patterns. And it's like last week, on that Thursday nighter from 2 weeks ago, shout out to the Patriots for winning 28-0 or whatever it was against Atlanta. But these are the games where, everybody sees what Miami did last week. They're coming off extra rest. They surprised Baltimore at home. These are letdown games. Why is it spread 3.5? I don't know, right? Like, especially with Flacco there as a fourth, I guess was a third or fourth string quarterback at this point. I'm going to take the Jets. Like you said, like the Jets have been better at home. That's not usually something I'm looking, if someone's been better at home or on the road, because I feel like these things always tend to average out. But I'll take the Jets here, maybe even to end up winning this week, because Miami, I feel like they had their one win of the week. They showed everybody on prime time, this is us. And now they'll what we don't think they're going to do. Lose to the Jets. So I'll take the Jets there even on the money line, because I think that's big problems for Tua and the coach if that's the case.
Sounds like something the Titans would do. Lose to the Jets.
Exactly. It's something they would do. It's something they have done. And don't worry, we're going to get to Cincinnati because that's something they did too. Okay, Baltimore, -6 points, traveling to Chicago. Khalil Mack done for the season. Rob was telling me a lot of sharp monies on Chicago. After I saw Khalil Mack out, that's a big, obviously, loss for the defense. Baltimore hasn't covered in a few weeks. Igor, who do you like here?
I think, this is one of those situations where Justin Fields takes on a pretty ravenous Ravens defense. I don't like the Bears, that's for sure. I think the Ravens are like a bit of a wounded animal. They got embarrassed by Miami. They have a lot to work out in terms of some of the kinks, but I like the Ravens. I think that defense is going to give Fields a lot of problems, and the rookie's going to have a bad day. And obviously, I'm not going to go on my Matt Nagy rant because I'm going to save that for Brandon. But yeah, I just think the Ravens are going to win by a touchdown, and that'll be the end of that.
I'm not going to go in and Matt Nagy because you know what? I'm going to put money down on the Chicago Bears this week.
Oh wow!
I'm going to trust Matt Nagy because I think this is a game that they should at home. Yes, you have Khalil Mack out, but I still think the Chicago defense is still formidable enough to kind of stop the run there. And, the Baltimore Ravens will want to prove something, but I still think I'm going to put my trust in David Montgomery in that run game to actually have a decent game against the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm actually going with the underdog here with the Chicago Bears. If Matt Nagy and these guys do not put it together, I'm going to be back to roasting these guys to oblivion next week. So I'm going to take the Chicago Bears here.
There you go.
Rob will look forward to that too. I'm going to take Chicago. When I saw this originally, I was looking at it, and I like Baltimore because, like I said, they haven't covered a lot recently. But I feel like this is a spot where everybody's seeing the injuries that are mounting up for Chicago. Obviously, Baltimore here is a better team. Maybe should be favored by a little bit more than 6. And I heard another stat on a few podcasts that before the home team used to get 3 points, which Rob brings up a lot. He does that handicap where if it was a neutral field, it would be maybe even. From what I've heard, Vegas has changed that to 1 point for home field advantage. It's not what it used to be, which is kind of surprising. That being said, I'm going to take Chicago there, the home team, get them to cover. Who knows? Maybe surprise and win this game, but definitely to cover. I think this is a game they can keep close, control the clock with running the ball. Not like they have a great offense there, but Lamar's obviously going to be running the ball a lot too. Low scoring game, and I'll take Chicago plus the 6. I'll probably have that in my 5. Brandon, Cincinnati's taking on Vegas. In the underachiever bowl after both teams had
underachiever. Come on, man.
After month one,
okay.
Both teams would look like they were going to the playoffs, right? And then since then, the wheels have fallen off. Which team's going to continue to slide here?
The Las Vegas Raiders. Everything they're building up is going to end right here. This is where they end. Basicki is not the answer. All right. This is where the Cincinnati Bengals are going to try to kind of get back their mojo from what they started. I think they're going to put it together. After, of course, a week of prepping and getting ready, I'm going to take Cincinnati. Going down Las Vegas, Joe Burrow is going to go into the Vegas slots, win a bunch of money after the game. It's going to be a great game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Taylor is actually undefeated after a bye. You guys didn't know this. Head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, undefeated after a bye. So, Cincinnati Bengals hammer that line. They're going to win this game in the 1 point. Absolutely. Big game will be. Circle this one.
I'm going to circle it right now. Yeah. Expect that after a bye to halt. I'm going to take Vegas here. And I think I'm expecting a big Waller game here. I just want to see, like I said, these are just two teams really to get a tough read on. I don't love Vegas here, but I'll take them in nightclub home field advantage that they do have there, hoping that maybe Cincy goes a little bit too ham at the club the night before and Vegas catches them sleeping. So I'll take Vegas, in this case, plus 1 point. Igor.
I was going to take the Bengals, but I think Brandon might have talked me out of it, to be honest with you.
Oh,
he talked it up so much. Now I think that, the Raiders are going to pummel Joe Burrow and get him, busted up bad. No, I saw the Vegas game. They definitely regressed a little bit. I think the Bengals offense has a lot of similarities to the Chiefs offense in a lot of ways, and they can run the ball. I think Vegas is a little bit – you mentioned Waller. Waller hasn't really been – they're not feeding him the ball. He's getting double or triple teamed. They're missing that deep threat. Deshaun Jackson is there. He only had one play last week and he fumbled the ball. I'm going to take the Bengals. They're the better team overall, and the fresher team. I hate taking Vegas to lose 2 games in a row at home, but yeah, again, the Bengals are just the better team in general. So I'm going to go there, and if I'm only getting a point, it's a pick-em game. So I'll take the better team. I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, especially with Waller. You see what Kansas City does with Travis Kelce, all those intermediate routes, get him in the middle of the field. They don't do that with Waller. I have Waller in fantasy. Deep, right? They don't do that. They just send him deep.
The problem with them is that they obviously don't have it. They got Brian Edwards. They lost Henry Ruggs to the whole car crash situation. They don't have the other weapons where, teams have been focusing on Waller. He hasn't done much in weeks. If you look at some of his stats, he's 4 catches, 40 yards. It's not anything that pops off. He's definitely not what it was last year.
Honestly, Derek Carr missed him in an easy touchdown in the game, if you guys watch. So, it's not always on him. It's Derek Carr's playing pretty bad, too. So that's one thing as well.
So, I'm taking the Bengals, but I almost guarantee I'm going to regret it because Brandon talked that up and watch. They're going to get pounded by 30 points. Watch.
So Waller last week against KC, 4 receptions, 24 yards. Week before, 92 yards. But that was a bit of an anomaly. Seems like he's been around 45 to 60 yards for most of the season. Just one game over 100 yards, and that was week 1 against Baltimore. Without Ruggs there and just Renfro, I think that they just, like you said, it doesn't take a brain surgeon, right? It's let's take away their best player on offense and force them to beat us in other ways. They haven't done that. I'm hoping Josh Jacobs has a big game for them because he's been injured this year, but they're going to need to get the running game going to open things up.
I got him in fantasy. I could use that.
Yeah. Let's go on to another primetime game here. Well, not primetime, but a big game. Dallas taking on Kansas City. Kansas City's sitting in first place, 6-4. I was going to mention Vegas still only one game out of first place here, so it's a game that they're kind of going to need to win. So Kansas City at home, 2.5-point favorites to Dak and the Cowboys. Igor, you love the Cowboys. Why don't you start it off?
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
You know what? As sad as it has to be, I gotta take Jerry Jones and them boys out in Dallas.
I would love that.
One, because at the end of the day, I think overall on both sides of the ball, I think they can they have enough offense to really keep the again. You know, even if Mahomes does a great day, they can still score points on that Chiefs defense. And the Cowboys D is actually pretty good, and you know I think they're overall might be the better team in general. They really laid a whooping on Atlanta last week, so I'm gonna take the Cowboys in that spot to win the game actually. And Jerry Jones is gonna walk in with those boys, and here we go.
Yeah, Amari Cooper is out with COVID.
Yeah, Amari Cooper's out with COVID.
That's more for CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup.
Mike Gallup. Yeah, Justin Schultz. Yeah, I think I actually don't think this. I guess when Tony Romo was the quarterback, I really disliked them. I actually don't mind them, especially with the Hard Knocks. I'm actually more of like I'm not as much as a Cowboy hater as I used to be in the past. I used to be Stephen A. Smith, even worse in the past. But no, they came off a really big game. And I know I'm taking Dallas Cowboys, man. I think this is the perfect underdog spot. I think this should be a prime 5 pick of the week. I think they're honestly at some points. I think they're a better team than Kansas City.
They are.
All 3 points, they're better. They're better. So I'm going to take Dallas Cowboys. I'm surprised they're not favored in this game. I'm going to take Dallas Cowboys for sure to take this, man. Oh, good old Jerry.
Good old Jerry Jones.
This is 2 of the most public teams in the last few years as well, right? Like everybody obviously with Dallas and Kansas City. I think that people think that they've really turned the corner, right? But when you look at their wins, they've won 3 in a row, sitting 4-1 their last 5. So after that 27-3 loss to the Titans, 20-17 win over the Giants Monday nighter, nothing special. A 13-7 win over the Packers. Was Rodgers in for that one?
No, he was out.
That's what I'm saying. Right? That was when Love played. So Love played. They would have lost that game. And then last week against the Raiders team, who we just talked about, decimated by injuries and just the season that they've had, 41-14. So those wins there look like a lot of fraudulent wins. And I think that the public's really going to look at that and be like, oh, if you just check it out, Kansas City's won 3 in a row, they're back. I think that's a sucker's bet. So clean sweep with all of the I guess, taking Dallas. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City wins by 21.
I know.
I'll still make fun of it afterwards if they do win by 21.
Exactly.
But the defense is much better with Dallas, right? Like, obviously, Kansas City's turned around. Their defense has been better. But like I said, going against some pretty terrible offenses, the Raiders put up 14. Jordan Love got 7, and then the Giants got 17 on them. So I'm not sure really the defense couldn't have gotten any worse. But at the same time, Dallas just better, and I think in all facets of the game except at the quarterback position. But even that, this year, Dak's been better. 2 games left. Sunday nighter. Arizona Cardinals, who obviously had a bit of a tailspin with all of the injuries they've had. Looks like Hopkins is going to be out, Kyler's going to be out, JJ's done for the season. Arizona's still a 1-point favorite going to Seattle after Russ Wilson and the guys just looked dysfunctional going against Green Bay last week. Brandon, who do you like here on the Sunday nighter?
Yeah, I think this is an easy, pick. You take the Seahawks plus 1.5. They're back home. Russell has to play a lot better. They're not going to get shut out again. Chris Carson is out for the year, so you have to lean a lot more on DJ Dallas and, of course, Homer as well, too, to run the ball. But you still have DK Metcalf, who's healthy. You have Tyler Lockett. You have guys that are still going to get open. And I think Russell Wilson's going to put it together. I think it's a game where Arizona's coming from a warm environment, going to Seattle. Colt McCoy is still starting. I think this is the game where Russell Wilson's going to come out and actually show, like, hey, I'm still Russ.
I think Kyler's back, actually. I think Kyler's
really?
He's questionable.
He said his ankle. He's questionable still, right? He said his ankle. Oh, you know what? You could be right. He could be back.
He's practiced all week, so that he's leaning toward playing.
Okay. I'm still going to take the Seahawks. I'm still taking Seahawks.
I was going to say, last update I have here, 16 hours ago, Kyler Murray officially listed as questionable. So it's still on the fence.
Yeah, questionable.
So you got Seattle there, right, Brandon?
I got Seattle there, regardless of who the quarterback is.
Well, I think the Cardinals were really decimated. I think, to me, it really depends if Kyler plays. I don't think again, I don't think he's going to be 100% or so forth. But I think the Seahawks are really in that big tailspin. They didn't score any points against the Packers last week. And then the Cardinals, again, I think that run game, even with Chase Edmonds out, I think Connor's going to have a good game. I'll take the Cardinals. I think Kyler will play. I think he'll again. I think they can see that there's some heat coming from behind in terms of wanting to ensure that they get that first place and so forth. I'm gonna take the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will bounce back from a bad loss last week and cover the spread.
I'm just looking at the NFC West standings here. So Arizona 8-2. I'm still surprised the Rams 7-3 after two losses. I would have thought that they had 4 or 5 at this point. Seems like they've been a lot more disappointing, but still 7-3. I guess a weak schedule. They played Detroit too. San Fran's at 4-5 and Seattle's at 3-6. Seattle, I guess they would have to probably win out or pretty damn close to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I like Seattle the whole time. To be honest, I love Seattle going into it. Now I might have a little twist of fate.
Wow. Here. No, stick with it, man. Stick with it.
Yeah.
Stick with it, man. Yeah. That's up to you.
That'd be back-to-back losses for the Cardinals. I don't know about that.
It's impossible, man. DeAndre's still out as well, too. Like
54% of the money here showing it's on Arizona. Hawks desperate. Well, damn, both teams are desperate for a win. I know that Arizona's in a much better place, but to keep pace, I don't know. I'll switch it up there. I'll go Arizona. Don't love it, but I'll go Arizona. It's not going to be in my 5. And then both you guys have actually, Igor, you have Arizona as well.
Yeah,
Circleist
game. Circleist game, man.
Well, we're going to watch this Sunday night. There will definitely be a lot of eyes on that one. Hopefully Kyler plays against Russ.
Is that the Sunday night? I thought it was Steelers Chargers as Sunday night, or no?
No.
Oh, my mistake.
Chargers.
Right, that's the 4 o'clock game. Yeah.
That's what I thought too. Okay.
Sorry about that. Getting to the
sometimes they switch it up sometimes, depending, but yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, getting to the Sunday nighter now. So Pittsburgh and the mess that they've been traveling to the Chargers, who have been another team. Again, when I was talking about Cincinnati and the Vegas, after the first week of the season, they look like a Super Bowl contender. They've been terrible. 5-point favorites, and we know that the Steelers fans are going to travel to the Chargers Stadium because Chargers don't have too many fans. -5, it looks like 54%. What I have here is on the Chargers. I'll go first. It just, to me, this makes too much sense. The Chargers have to cover at some point, and I'm expecting them to win big here. Big Ben's supposed to play. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Mason Rudolph is terrible.
Rudolph was terrible last year.
Terrible. It's a joke. But I'll take the Chargers there -5. Igor, what do you?
I'm going to actually take the Steelers. I think, they're getting healthier. They're going to get Claypool back, so the wide receiving core is going to be – actually, you know what?
TJ Watt's out.
I forgot all the defensive players are out. I'll switch it up. I think the Chargers will. I think TJ Watt is out. I think Minka Fitzpatrick still is on the COVID list, and I think Hayden's also out. So yeah, the Steelers defense is decimated. I'll take the Chargers to win by a touchdown. Chargers it is.
Hayden's out, but I don't see Minka on the injury list.
I don't see Minka out.
Minka's on the COVID list, I think. Yeah, I don't think he can play with COVID. I think.
Oh, okay. Unless that's new, I don't see it here. Joey Bosa.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
But Brandon.
That doesn't really matter. I think our boy Justin Herbert playing really well. Of course, tough loss last week, but I think it's a game where they're gonna probably rout the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers doesn't matter if Ben comes back. I just think that the Chargers are just a better team. They lost in really heartbreaking fashion, and they got to get a win at home. So they're gonna cover at some point, as Joey said. I'm taking Chargers, man. Clean sweep.
Igor, you ended up switching to the Chargers?
Yes. Chargers by a touchdown, yeah.
Okay, so LA and Giants traveling to Tampa on the Monday nighter. Tampa -11. Tampa coming off that embarrassing loss. I think that a lot of people in this spot are going to look at that and say Tampa's coming off a loss, lock this in pen that the Bucs are going to end up taking this game big, and they might, but the Bucs have a lot of injuries themselves. So what I'll do is I'm going to go with the Giants. The Giants have been in a lot of games this year, obviously haven't won too many, 3-6, taking on 6-3 Tampa. But Daniel Jones, a lot of people have been obviously, shitting on him because I can't think of another word, but he's been pretty decent this year. He's been better than Baker Mayfield. I think he's probably become a borderline average quarterback in that 15 to 20 spot in the league. Ratings at 87, not terrible. The defense is what it is. I'll take the Giants plus 11.5 points. And
yeah, I think in the Buccaneers, the defense hasn't been all that great. They're going to be missing Vita Vea, so that run defense is going to be a little bit out there. I think Barkley's back for the game. I'm pretty sure, so that'll help the Giants. I think the Giants usually in these spots they tend to play teams tough on these primetime games. I'll take the Giants to cover. I think the Bucs win, but again, too many points. I think the Bucs will win by like maybe 7-10 at the most, and so I'll take the Giants to cover.
Trouble in paradise if they end up losing this game, though.
Well, again, I mean,
Yeah.
Gronkowski's back, so that helps Brady in his weapons because he's been. AB, I'm pretty sure is not going to play, but again,
Godwin's questionable. Pierre-Paul's questionable.
yeah, there's definitely. I think the defense has been the bigger letdown lately. So all in all, I'm going to take the Bucks the Giants to cover the spread. Yeah.
And Brandon.
No, I got the Buccaneers, man. They're already on a 2-game skid. Plus, they had that bye, right? They can't lose again, especially in prime time. It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady had that game face in the presser after. He's ready to go. Doesn't matter if they have Godwin or not. Yeah, definitely going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to actually cover with those points against New York Giants in that spot.
Taking a look at some of the comments here, just read a few of them out in the chat there. Sometimes I like reading them. Brady looks like a bad Stafford there in a slump. Give me the Giants. The dogs look great these days, and the dogs have been good recently. And then this game is going to be rigged, trust me. So that's another one that we might be looking at in those primetime games, right? Like, Igor, which was that one in the middle of this? Oh, the Patriots and Tampa. Remember that one? The -7 where everybody and their mom is like,
Belichick did a number on Brady there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But again,
so
Brady
tends
to play pretty badly against the Giants for whatever reason in his career. So I don't know. I mean, it could have absolutely happened that Brandon gets that right, but the Giants, they just don't get blown out all that often. So I still think Tampa wins the game, though.
I was just thinking about this. The Manning brothers are going to love this on Monday night, talking about the Giants.
Oh, yeah. Eli's going to love that. Eli's going to love that stuff, man.
As long as they don't get blown out by like 3 touchdowns, we'll say, I guess.
Yeah, but even so, he has 2 rings. What's he going to say? He'll talk that game all day.
Yeah,
all right, boy. That wraps up the schedule. Do either of you two have the 5 ready to go?
Yeah, I'll end up going with the 5.
All right, Igor, go ahead.
So I'm going to take the Lions to cover the spread.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Packers. Going with the I will change my mind on that one. Going with the Eagles. So that's 3. Going with the Giants. And last but not least, give me the Chargers.
Yeah, those are actually good picks.
I went mostly underdogs this time. My favorites haven't really been panning out too well.
Yeah, you got to go underdogs.
I only caught 3 of those. So I have Philly, Giants, and the Chargers. What were the other 2?
The Packers.
Okay.
And the Lions.
Packers and the Lions. You've been on the Lions all year.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I had them as my lock, but again, I just think that Cleveland getting that butt whoop like that. I don't know if that's too many points to lay. I've never seen something like that where a team gets killed by like 35, and then next week the spread's almost 2 touchdowns for them. That's really fishy to me. So that doesn't really make a ton of sense. But
Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, don't mind my dog. But I'm gonna take the Chargers, take the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals, man. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati Bengals there for the 1 point. All right. I'm gonna go to the Eagles at home against the Saints. And you know what? Just because I think it's just right to do, I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to actually win this game. I'm so iffy on that game. I've never been more iffy on the game. That's my iffy game of the year. I really want to take the Green Bay Packers, but I just feel like Minnesota is going to do something at home. So Minnesota, Eagles, Bengals, Cowboys, and Chargers.
I'm just looking at Rob's picks right now, just trying to write these ones down. So I'll just go through it again real quick. So Igor, I have you down for Green Bay, Philly, the Giants, the Chargers, and Detroit. Brandon, I have you with the Chargers, Cowboys, Cincy, Philly, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So Rob's pick for this week, I'll read off a few of the things that he had here as well for them. So Chicago coming off a bye. Shark bettors have Chicago on the spread and the money line. He likes Chicago. New Orleans, both their tackles are out, Armstead and Ramczyk. New Orleans model of inconsistency coming off good performance and a backdoor cover. So in that one, he likes Philly.
Okay.
Other than that, Houston, Tennessee is in a flat spot. The line's too big. Houston's off a bye. I don't like that Joe wore the hat last week.
Of course.
So yeah, it's Houston there. Minnesota, good team at home at 1 p.m. Green Bay is going to be was lucky to beat Seattle. Green Bay 9-0 against the spread in the last 9. Wow, Brandon, that's going to have me leading Minnesota. And Minnesota offense has been better than Green Bay's offense this year. And then in his last pick, he did pick the Seahawks. And he's just saying only if Kyler doesn't play. Just heard good reasoning. Arizona off a bye next week. Basically getting a free roll there. If Seattle does play, they'll be super motivated. So
Right.
he's taking Seattle, assuming that Kyler's going to be out. So his picks are Seattle, Minnesota, Chicago, Houston, and Philly. For my picks, I'm just going from top to bottom here. I have Houston plus the 10, Minnesota minus the 1, Indy plus the 7. I have to go Chargers here. Chargers minus the 5. And I will go Chicago and the Jets is one that I'm kind of torn on. I'll go I like both. I already have Chicago written down, so I'll go Chicago plus a 6. My 6th pick, for whatever that's worth, is still going to be, I'll take the Giants plus a 3.5. Let's give our one lock of the week, one pick against the spread. Guys, let's go back to last week because I have them right here, and we'll go through and see how everybody did.
Did you say Giants plus 3.5? You say Giants plus 3.5?
New York Jets.
Oh, the Jets. Okay, got it.
That's my 6th pick, whatever. I like both. So last week, Igor, your picks were Tennessee minus 3, got shafted there because they didn't at one point. Indy minus 10.5, got shafted there. Dallas did cover for you, minus 8.5. Green Bay minus 3.5. I don't remember the score.
Yeah, they won like 13-0.
Okay.
13-0, yeah.
And then the Rams, who did you dirty? So you got 2 last week. Igor with the 2 for 5.
Not bad.
It could be worse. Not great, that's for sure. Brandon had Green Bay minus 3.5. That was the one you bounced back on. And you got
I bounced back on. I'm going to feel bad if I don't
One
get
you
it.
did bounce back on Denver, who let a lot of people down last week.
Yeah.
Chargers minus 3 did not come through. Cleveland plus a 2.5 did not come through. Tennessee minus 3 did not. So Brandon went 1 for 5. Rob last week had the Chargers, did not cover. Cleveland did not cover. Carolina did, right? No, they won the game. They covered as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't think they. Oh, okay. I don't think they did.
Carolina.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They covered. Philly, he went against his boys. That was good, and he stuck with Shanahan. So Rob right now went 3 for 5. Not a bad week for him. Let's go to mine. Washington was my lock of the week, and man, did they make me proud. I'm riding that one off into the sunset. Atlanta let me down. Buffalo, did they cover?
Buffalo covered, yeah.
So I got 2. Carolina covered San Fran. I went 4 for 5 last week, boys.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
So Washington, Buffalo, Carolina, San Fran had me. My lock of the week cashed in. Arizona just did me dirty. So I went 4 for 5 and hit the lock. Other people's locks for last week. Brandon, you got yours with Green Bay. Igor had Indy, his lock of the week, didn't cash in, and then Roz was Cleveland. So me and Brandon had our 1 locks in that hit, and then best week award went to me. Rob 2nd, Igor 3rd, and then Brandon with the just.
It doesn't matter as long as you get the lock of the week. As long as you get
the lock of the week, just win one, baby. Just win.
That's it.
All right, let's do our locks of the week then. Igor, you go first.
Oh man.
Oh boy, I never thought I'd be doing this, but I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Ivermectin. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be. I'm gonna say I'm gonna lay it all on the line with the 9 and what you say it was 9-0 against with the spread.
I don't know if anybody's ever had a 10-game streak against the spread. Someone maybe has, but I can't see that happening too often.
I just think that again. I think this is gonna be. I think Dylan is gonna have an opportunity to really shine. He reminds me a lot of one of those like power backs from like back in the day. Like he's not as big as like Mike Allstott or like the Bus or whatever, but he's a big, powerful runner. I like him. I think it's gonna be his game. He's gonna really shine, and I think the Packers are gonna win pretty convincingly. So I'm gonna go stick it out with Mr. Ivermectin. I just want to know the irony that I'm the only one that actually is hoping that Aaron Rodgers actually wins the game this week. And that's just ironic in general. But, yeah, I'm going to take Mr. Ivermectin. I'll take the Packers as the lock.
Okay, Brandon.
I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles, 2.5 at home against the Saints. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to lock it in. If I didn't go there, I would have went to Buffalo Bills. But no, the Philadelphia Eagles should win this game convincingly. I know Alvin Kamara, I believe, or so. It's going to be one of those games. So I'm definitely taking the Philadelphia Eagles. Lock that in.
Philly. All right. I'm looking at all my picks, and I like them all a lot. So I'm just going to take a look. Let me just look at what Indy's percentage is going against them, because I like Indy a lot too this week.
I've been so bad. I don't know if I like these picks or not. It's like
I'm picking against I'm picking against someone I hate, so I figured that might give me some decent karma.
So then you should go get the Cowboys too. I guess if I had to pick two games I like the most, definitely gonna be Houston and Minnesota. Maybe I should take Minnesota so that one of us has to get that
yes,
right.
dude. I was gonna do that. Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna lock in Kirk Cousins in the Backs Bowl, plus the one at home. And
nice.
you know what? Damn it! I'm gonna give two locks for the week this week because I'm feeling Christmas season's around the corner. My ass coming through. Minnesota +1 and Houston +10.
Wow!
So I got two locks. For the week. I'm feeling hot after that.
Going against his own team too. You gotta break them out.
Hey, Tennessee's still gonna win. They're not gonna win big.
Okay.
Tennessee's still gonna win.
Right. That's fair. Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
There's the Titan Porco.
And we're gonna, as The Rock would say, we're gonna ride off into the sunset with that one. So, locks of the week. Rob didn't give me a lock. Let me just go back and make one for him. Then he was. You know what? I'm gonna give him Chicago because it seemed like that was the one that he liked the most. If anything changes, so I'll have Robin for Chicago. Igor has Green Bay. I'm taking the 2 with Minnesota and Houston, and Brandon has Philly. All right. Any last thought, guys?
Hey, I gotta lock in. I gotta get to at least 3 wins this week. At least, man. That's what I'm hoping for.
You need a 5
I gotta bounce
back in the standings.
Yeah, I need a 5 burger.
Hopefully
I had some tough luck because I think a lot of those games last week should have covered and by 1 point, and then the Indianapolis was up 3 touchdowns at one point. It was bad beats last week for me.
See, I wish I had the New England Patriots last week. The Patriots are an easy team to walk on right now.
Yeah, and that's definitely my final thought. The Patriots are back, baby. The Patriots are back.
Super Bowl
I don't care that it was Atlanta. I didn't think we had a real legitimate shot of making the playoffs. It's looking great. Heck, they might even win the division. It's looking great.
And you know what, Igor? Since you came in humble, I'm going to give you a pat on the back because you came in this season all over Tampa and not so much with the Pats. And you are a Pats guy, so the fact that you did say, "Hey, I told you so," I respect that. Because they're just playing better, and you're like, you know what? They're surprising me. It's really you're playing with house money, and congrats to the Pats fans that are actually still there and didn't jump to the non-Boston people that didn't jump to Tampa. So I also just want to throw in. I'm probably going to fade the Pats just against the spread because they've done really well recently. They've lost people a lot of money. Like I think a lot of people were on Cleveland last week. I think a lot of people probably took Atlanta with the points. But I don't know. New England looks like maybe a dark horse pick in the. I guess maybe
the defense is playing solid. They're getting good out of Hunter Henry and stuff. They're solid. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl or anything, but I'm just happy that they might even get into the playoffs. I thought it was going to be like a 500 season probably at best, but they're looking like they got a decent shot of going into the playoffs. So they got a couple winnable games left. So they got to play the Bills twice still. So and the Titans. I think they got the Titans next week. So that'll
be a good one.
Yeah. Hey, with the COVID restrictions going off, and you can actually go across the border now. I think that's probably a game to go to in New England versus Buffalo. In Buffalo, that would be a great game to go to. I think that'd be solid. And once again, it's still Buffalo in December.
I'd make the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I'm just looking at the schedule right now. So Thanksgiving is actually next week. I took the day off work because I wanted to potentially go down to Detroit. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm definitely going to watch those games. Maybe what we'll do is on Wednesday, maybe we'll do a quick thing on those 3 games. But I was just looking at the schedule here. So Tennessee's taking on New England next Sunday. And then the Thanksgiving game, Chicago taking on Detroit, of course, in the early game. Vegas with the Cowboys. And then at nighttime, Bills and Saints. Hopefully Kamara comes back for that one because that would be pretty decent.
Yeah.
All right, boys, that'll wrap it up for week 11. Good luck, everybody, with your picks. And I'm saying my prayers for Brandon so he can jump back into the standings and not be in the bottom by himself.
If I don't cash out this week, listen, I'm only taking underdogs from now on. From now on, I'll take underdogs, man. That's what's going to happen. All right, guys.
All right, guys. See you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.